Hello, and welcome back to the Household of Faith for Wednesday, May 1st. And today's word of power is forgiveness. Now, we're familiar with the story from Matthew 18 and 21:22, where Simon Peter asked, "How often should I forgive my brother?" And Jesus answered with a seemingly impossible number, 7 times 70 in a day. That's a lot. But why was the number so high? Not just 7 times a day, but if someone needs to be forgiven that often, then it's a reason why you need to do it, because it can turn into unforgiveness. We're going to spend a lot more time talking about unforgiveness than forgiveness, because most people have unforgiveness. It looms like a skyscraper in your heart. And you don't want to confuse unforgiveness with hatred, because they're not the same thing. But often one does lead to another. Trust me, it is a real killer. Now, when left unchecked, it digs deep down and it becomes the whopper with the bitterness. And the tendrils of the root grow so deep and they attach themselves widely to your memories. And it manipulates them in such a way that you can't even trust your own thoughts. Have you ever noticed that you and someone, especially a sibling, can experience the same exact situation in life, but their recollection is completely different from yours? And you might say, "That never happened. I don't remember that." And the memories can be affected by your emotions. So if the root of bitterness is so deep that it affects what you think and you can't trust your own thoughts, then that's a good sign that they have to be completely eradicated. And this has to be done before you can even begin to forgive. A telltale sign of unforgiveness is when you think about a situation or a circumstance that happened in your life and you have an emotional response that is not good. It's not pleasant. If you're angry, if you're hurt, then there's unforgiveness there. And it's just that simple. And I'm speaking from experience. There are a lot of things that you've forgotten that have been pushed back into your subconscious because the memories are unpleasant. And this does happen. It's a way that we protect ourselves. But let me tell you this, that there is no part of your psyche that the Word of God can't reach. It's your mind. And when you renew your mind with the Word, you can overcome the unforgiveness, and you can dig up root by root, tendril by tendril, the unforgiveness that has taken hold of you. Because God cannot use you with unforgiveness in your heart. The Word clearly says that if you don't forgive, He doesn't forgive you. It's that plain and simple. That's how important it is. So can unforgiveness from one thing, one situation in your life keep you from making it into glory? Yes. The Word is very clear about that. So one of the things that we have to do is, when the memory is exposed and we have to forgive and let it go, we have to release it in such a way that we can never pick it up again. To incinerate it. You know how you can just rip something apart, but there are people, the shredders, the paper shredders, that when you stick the paper down in, it just goes into those long things. Well, people have been known to go back through those and put those back together again. Now they get chopped up. That's a whole lot harder. Now, somebody wants to put something back together that's been chopped to pieces. Well, you know what? More power to you. But that would take a lot of effort. Why would you want to go through that effort of picking back up that hurt and that bitterness and that anger again once you let go of it? So it needs to be incinerated. And I say, when you lay it down on the altar, you don't pick it up because you don't want it to recoalesce in the future. You want it to be gone forever so that you can move on. Now, the Lord, when you say you want to forgive someone, God's not going to just take your emotions away from you. He's not going to do that, because it's your emotions. You have to deal with them. But He will show you and help you through His Word and Spirit on how you can let go of them, each one at a time. There's something big and something small that goes around. One big thing and a lot of little things that add up to it or lead up to it that help keep it going. And that was the way I experienced it. Something big and then some little things that needed to be addressed. And once they were addressed and the small ones were gone, they kept bringing it back, and the big one was easier to deal with. But they're gone forever. And how do I know? Because when those situations are mentioned or that person is mentioned, and I don't have those feelings anymore, and I can breathe deeply and clearly without that weight, because it weighs you down. And unforgiveness hurts you more than it hurts anyone else. So in order to forgive easily, you have to get rid of all unforgiveness in your life. Once you've done that, it's so much easier to forgive and forget as soon as it happens. Now, does that mean that you may not mention or speak or think about it in the future? Not necessarily. It doesn't necessarily mean that. But what it does mean is that you won't continue to hold it against the person. And that's what forgiveness is all about. Whatever they've done, you deal with it, you let it go. If they do it again, you deal with it and you let it go. Because you have to. You don't have a choice in the matter. If you want to continue and go on moving forward with the things of God, it's a requirement, and there's no getting around that.